Pairfect. I am Teddy Montelibano.
Dinah Ventura. Our guest today is an esteemed leader in government whose track record includes impressive stints in the academe and private sector.
He is a Filipino international development banker and finance expert who also served as the 20th president of the University of the Philippines system from 2011 to 2015.
Our guest is also a member of the Management Association of the Philippines. He was the president and a life member of the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines and president of the Rotary Club of Makati.
So it is our pleasure to have with us the Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, Alfredo E. Pascual.
Welcome to Pairfect, sir, Secretary.
Thank you. Just call me Fred, by the way.
Okay.
Make it short.
We'll make it Secretary Fred.
Yeah.
Okay, Secretary Fred.
Yeah, well-
So let's start. How are you? How are you, sir, today? And how is your family?
Feel fine, after a whole day of activities in Naga and then flying back to Manila late yesterday. Then had a meeting upon my landing in the airport via Zoom.
Jesus.
I had a good night's sleep and I'm okay.
That's good. That's
What time
good.
did you start yesterday? What time did you start in Naga?
In Naga, we went there yesterday, day before. And
day
in fact,
before.
it was a long way.
Did you
because I had
did
to,
you fly or did you by
I,
land?
I went ahead of the president. I could have joined the military plane that brought him there, but I joined the military plane coming back.
Okay.
I had to fly to Legazpi first to be able to honor my commitment to meet with the Camarines Sur Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Okay.
There was a sudden call for a meeting in Malacanang, which I had to go. I missed my noontime flight to Naga direct. To go to Legazpi, took a 2-hour ride to Naga.
Good roads naman.
Good roads generally,
Yes, of course.
and
Are you from Naga?
made it.
Oh, she's
I'm
from
from-
Naga.
No, I'm from Legazpi.
You're from Legazpi.
Yeah, so it was in Legazpi, Naga. Made it in time. So I
Oh, great.
requested them to move the meeting to 8:30
Wow.
in the evening, and they,
And then
of
the
course,
president came.
obliged. And then the president came in the morning of the next day, which was yesterday, Thursday, and we started the day with doing the rounds in the Kadiwa ng Pangulo, which was our way of, or the president's way of helping address the increasing prices of food and other products consumed by the public.
Public, yeah.
Well, here.
How exactly does the Kadiwa, how does the Kadiwa
Yeah,
benefit?
Kadiwa
How does that work?
was a
does it-
Department of Agriculture,
Okay, it's a
and-
government program.
and it's joined also by DTI. It's a joint project of the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Trade and Industry. The idea is to bring farm produce from the farmers directly to the market, the Kadiwa,
yes.
the
No
Kadiwa
middleman,
hub.
no middleman straight.
No middleman, so we're able to pay the farmer a higher price for their produce
I see,
and
okay.
get the consumers to have access to
Lower
cheaper or
cost,
lower
yeah.
priced farm produce. And then on the part of DTI, we're able to get manufacturers of processed food, canned food and the like, to set up in the Kadiwa ng Pangulo hub and offer their products at a reduced price.
What was particularly special about, why did the president choose to go to Naga? Are there Kadiwa stores all over the country?
Well, there are more than 300 Kadiwa hubs that
All over the
have
country.
already been organized.
Set up.
but the president is picking or going from province
From
to
one
province.
province to
you know.
Okay,
Like
it's
there's
such a
another
busy
province we're going
schedule.
to.
Such a busy schedule for the president,
Yeah,
and you're always
9.
with him.
Yeah.
And
Nine
like I said, Ted,
activities.
to backtrack a little
Yeah.
bit, the
But
last
it's more
time, yeah,
it's more than just doing kadiwa.
Oh.
Being there, you
There's-
know,
Yes,
gave
yes,
it gives
Of course,
gives
yeah.
us the opportunity to do
meet the
many
people.
other things. You
Yeah.
know?
I
Okay,
know,
yeah.
go to the grassroots.
Talk
Yeah,
to the
great,
people,
yeah.
see what's
Yeah.
going on in the area and in the province. Yeah,
And
like
it's-
we inaugurated also in Naga two housing projects. It's very major housing projects.
Great.
It was well received by the community, and
Yeah.
we did the same thing in Cebu previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before you.
So
Just
it's
before
like
that, yeah.
Your schedule has been full with traveling all over the country and outside the country. So
Yes. Outside the country, there were 9 presidential visits
Oh my
to
God.
various countries
Yeah.
over
You
the
know, the
past.
reason
We started doing it in September, I think.
oh, last
September,
yes.
October, November, December, January, February.
It's
Probably
practically
about 6 to
been
7 months.
non-stop.
9, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So, but we still
Fantastic schedule.
find time to
You
work.
look good. I mean, you
I
look
know, I know.
good
I
and
was,
fit.
I was gonna say because the last
Yes.
time we saw
You saw him.
Fred, it was via Zoom last
Yeah.
year
I
during
see.
pandemic,
Okay.
and he was telling us about
During the pandemic.
yeah. So he was telling us about how he was taking time for himself, walking around in your village. You said
Yes,
with your
yes.
wife and family.
Yeah.
So, how has it been since then for you?
Well, since then, I'm not able to walk regularly anymore because sometimes I go home quite late. I do it in the evening, this walking
So
around.
the upside of the
The
pandemic is
village.
that you're able
But
to
I
spend
still
time with your
do
family.
it at least once a week
Okay, that's
and
good.
do some exercise at home. You know.
Yeah, I think that's why he's energetic.
Well,
I guess you
to
have
keep
to.
up to, I didn't expect to be in this position, so it's just keeping trim to be able to enjoy life, you know, to be
Yes.
ready
Of course, yeah.
for anything.
Yeah. So, were you ready for the DTI position when it was given to you? How was that?
Psychologically, I was not prepared.
Because you came from where? You came from MAP or?
No,
what?
I at that time I was just doing board work, meaning serving
you
as
were- yeah.
independent director on boards
Several-
of publicly
several-
listed
yes.
companies, the 4 of them, and plus many other non-profit organizations on the boards of which I sit, as
Yes.
director. So it's all, the remunerative corporate directorship and the voluntary
Yes.
work on non-profit.
You're busy with that.
organization.
Oh,
Yeah, and that
okay.
those things kept me busy. But my work in DTI
And then
is
all of a
making
sudden-
me work
Even
harder.
All of a sudden,
harder
it's all
than
for
before,
country.
than
Sorry.
ever.
All for country.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a different
Thank
motivation.
you
Well,
for-
same motivation in terms of being able to
Okay,
serve,
yeah,
but
yeah.
now I'm serving a bigger
Yeah.
constituency.
So was that the reason you took on this job at this point?
Oh, I accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've been
The people said, that it's a big challenge. Why did I accept it?
Yes.
Well, it's another opportunity for me to serve. She will note in all the jobs I've held over the 5 decades I've been working. Always had and now have a strong service component.
yeah.
Okay.
And you've never been one to back down on a job.
Oh yeah, no, because people talk about life-work balance. In my case, the two are integrated. So
Yeah.
my life is my work. My work is my life.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
It's like a journalist.
Mhm.
Journalist.
Exactly. Yeah.
My life is my work.
Yes. But Zach, was it everything you expected it to be, or were there some things that you didn't?
well, of course,
Quite.
I'm
Expectation
aware
versus
of
reality.
the various functions of the departments in government, so I was fully aware of what I was going into. And I, in a way, quite prepared given the broad range of exposures I've had
Yes.
prior to this position, and the fact that DTI is a department that has really very varied and a wide range of
Very wide,
responsibilities. We deal with the micro enterprises to the multi-billion-dollar
Correct.
investments
Yeah.
that we try to bring into the country. We do developmental function, trying to develop industries, develop companies, invite investors, and at the same time we do a very important regulatory function, which is to protect the consumer welfare. So we have a very strong consumer protection operation, to protect consumers against high prices of basic necessities and prime commodities, protect consumers against fraud, against abuses, against scams.
Yes. But you have a good you have a good team there.
Oh yes.
Did you retain a lot of
Yes,
did you retain a lot of
I
those
retained
already
a
in
lot.
place?
The DTI has the reputation of having a very professional team, and I retained all the key undersecretaries handling the respective areas. The head of BOI is a USEC, the head of competition and innovation, then consumer protection, administration. Yeah.
Very important.
Speaking of well-being, sir, how do you handle doubts or criticisms that come with leadership of jobs?
Well, I filter whatever comes my way. You don't react the same way to various things. If there's something there, the comment is something that's based on facts. And if it's a comment that has meant to highlight, the certain weaknesses or unfavorable things I'm doing, I adjust. Now, those that are pure criticisms, meaning for
Unfounded.
demolition
Yeah.
which I had, which
You
I had
had
to
those.
deal with before my confirmation.
Yes.
And I, in the past, in other leadership positions, there is always
Even
there are
the UP
poison pen
president.
letters,
Yeah,
So,
it's a public.
Eventually, it's self-correcting, because normally the criticisms or the speculations are based on half-truths and outright lies. So future events will show that what they're saying
Was
is not
not
Founded.
it's not
True.
true, unfounded,
Yes, true.
because nothing of their speculations would happen.
So you just have to
So it's self-correcting, I would say,
stay calm.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've my God, your experience is really something to write about. I mean,
Yes.
you know.
Speaking of, Sec Fred, you have held the topmost positions in the
Academe.
academe, private sector, and now government. How do you stay on top of your game? I mean, some people just self-destruct at some point, but you've held on like at the top.
Well, as I said, make sure that you treat your job as something you enjoy.
Yeah, something you enjoy. Yes.
It's not a job, that could, because you talk of job, you talk of drudgery,
Right.
Never
It's
the
not.
case with the positions I've held in the past and even now. So I have a healthy view of what I'm doing, and I keep up, with my own physical ability to deal with the job. I keep up with the knowledge and developments that are needed to be updated about to be able to do the job. I deal with my people and assess them. If some people are not delivering as expected, I move them around or
Yes.
try
Try
to
to
get them
find
out, and
strengths
bring in
where they
new people.
fit.
But that doesn't happen in a big way. In most of the organizations I have led, and the idea is to be able to get everybody that would be there already when I come in to be able to work. It's really a matter of motivation. If you can get the people motivated, they'll do most of the work.
How do you motivate your people?
Especially
How
when
do
you're
you-
handling such a
Well, in government it's limited because there are no bonuses, you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
Normally,
how do you
that's the
inspire them,
motivation.
or how do
Inspire
you-
is to show them, you know, that I understand what they're doing and I'm there to lead at the front, you know, not be just in the rear giving commands. You know.
do you talk to your people?
Oh yes, yeah, that's an important part of the work. You
You find out.
know. Get to know them, not too personal, but enough, you know, to be able to understand their situation and how they are how they are in the work. You know.
What's that? Okay. In every position you have initiated reforms or established innovations. You're particularly, you know, about innovations. You're even in UP. I've read some of your, you know, and you're particularly concerned about that. You know.
Yeah.
And you've always left a legacy or mark or a legacy of sorts in these institutions that you have been a leader in. How would you, you know, how would you, looking back, how would you, what kind of legacy do you think you've left,
Well,
especially in the academia,
yeah.
for instance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, for me, leadership is about change. You know, if it's just management means just doing things
Yes.
well with what's there already. But a leader has to introduce innovation. You know, to be able to move an organization upward, forward, and upward. Well, in UP, I am not shy to claim that I have done significant improvements or changes, you know, in the academic and operational aspects of UP. And my main challenge then, because that was what I said before, you know, was to bring UP to a global status as a university, and that meant doing a lot of work to improve research capabilities. So I vowed to transform UP into a research-intensive university, to make it a strong private service university serving the country and taking a leadership role in national development, and also as a university that produces leaders, not only in government and politics, but in all fields. And I created the enabling environment.
Yes.
It's a big organization with a lot of, well, brilliant people. You know.
Yes.
You don't really need to.
Good
You
thing
just have to
about
show them, show them what direction we're moving into, and give them the enabling conditions.
Yes.
For example, I worked on the budget of UP and was able
Yeah, I was
to
about to
get,
ask you about that. Always the same
significant
goal.
increases. Without that, maybe I could have achieved some enough also, but with the support I got from the government then in terms of funding for UP, we were able to do a lot. I was able to introduce many new things, you know, in some just to rattle off some, you know, and because this is a lasting effect. I pioneered the shift in the academic calendar for UP, and I believe then that others will follow, and they did.
Okay.
Universities, public and private, have followed suit because the idea there, partly to internationalize, facilitate the internationalization of UP, by synchronizing its calendar with the calendar of universities in our partner countries. Okay, but also we noticed there was research done that under the then prevailing academic calendar, you break the second semester, you know, because of the Christmas break.
Yes.
So the learning during second semester is less, and one study shows that the grades in the second semester tended to be lower than in the first semester. So, but that's just to find a justification internally. But my real motivation is to push UP's internationalization, because that's the way to go then, and that was where UP was lagging behind.
You think you've pushed it?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, to the
because
state
by
where
the
you are,
ti-
you're
yeah, by the time I left in 2017, UP has already been included in the top universities of the tougher, I wouldn't say tougher, but uh, the Times Higher Education, which is a rating uh, agency that didn't consider UP before.
Before.
before, yeah.
So that one, and left so many legacy. Uh, I created the UP Research, I mean, UP Resilience Institute, which became very useful during the pandemic, and will be it's key to our being able to address challenges in climate change
Yes.
and environmental issues. You know,
What kind of people would benefit from? I mean, what kind of people go into that?
well, the
institute?
idea behind
Are the scientists?
Yeah, the idea, no, not just the
technology?
scientists, the idea behind the UP Resilience Institute is to be able to bring in, to gather the talents of the UP faculty, the UP community, across the board, from the sciences, engineering, to humanities, to social sciences. So it's a system institution. It's not tied up to any college or to any of the constituent universities. Okay, and then I supported the creating a home for the Philippine Genome Center, which also proved to be a major institution that helped us tackle the challenges of the pandemic. Yeah, and if you go to UP Manila, you'll see a tall building rising there. I was the one who
You're the one who-
made it happen
Fantastic.
at that time. And then from academic to research, well, I also gave research funding to what we call the emerging interdisciplinary issues. The idea is to get the faculty, the researchers, to work together rather than by themselves. So the requirement for giving the grant is when there are two colleges involved,
I
or
see,
two
okay.
campuses involved, at
Okay.
least, and they work together. We've done a lot of work, including study of water issues in the Philippines, and producing new products that some of them have been commercialized. One that we started, which I supported, was the development of the diagnostic kits that is now being applied for the diagnosis of, used to be before dengue, now COVID-19. Yeah. Then sports complexes, in Diliman, you have a sports
Yes.
complex.
Fantastic.
In
You were into all, yeah.
in Los Baños, in Mindanao. Because I think I was able to raise funding for more than 50 new buildings.
Is it difficult? Is it difficult to raise funds for state-funded
It
learning institutions?
it has been, it had been very difficult. When I came in, the budget of TP has just been slashed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, What
okay.
year was that?
But I
What
was
year was
able
that,
to.
sir?
I took over in 2011. February
2011.
2011. So I inherited a budget which was lower than the previous year. And the idea, because I found out, that when the UP community would seek increases in budget, they push it because based on entitlement, that government is
state,
obligated
State
to fund us here in UP because we are
State
the
university,
national
yeah.
university. Okay, I changed
National university.
that way of selling UP. I sent a presentation to the president then.
Doya Macapagal.
No, Pinoy,
Pinoy, 2011.
showing him what UP has done in the past, what it's doing now, and what it is committing to do in the country, provided we get the funding.
And he listened to you.
I went over it, gave it to the secretary who's not a UP graduate, to the DBM secretary, the Department of Budget and Management, and we worked out, increases in budget. The MOE, the budget for operating expense, I was able, for the academic units, I was able to increase sevenfold,
Oh,
from
fantastic.
the time I started to the time I left.
Wow.
And I was able to get billions of pesos to
Government
support
government
capital
support.
outlay. Plus, of course,
Private
donations. That's the other thing I introduced,
Private
open
sector.
UP to
Alumni.
participation of private sector. I noticed that the best donors are non-alumni
Oh,
because they
really?
want to be linked to UP.
Oh, I see.
On the other hand, our alumni, although many of them have been very supportive, but some alumni I've talked to said, "Oh, why should we give back? We don't have any obligation."
So,
It was government that funded our education. It's a government obligation.
that's a good way to know. Right?
So
Way of looking at it.
it's a matter of really orienting the mind.
Great, great. Yeah.
Mind games pala si Sec Fred eh.
Ah.
Anyway, before we
Yeah, okay.
continue with Sec Pascual's thoughts on trade and industry, let's take a short break.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy to centers, pati sa mga partners may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all. Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Every time I'm on the road, I can expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. Now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.
Fiber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
Welcome back. You are watching Pairfect, featuring DTI Secretary Fred Pascual. Well, now I think we are going to be a little bit more serious.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Just a little
All right,
bit. So a
weren't
lot
we
of-
serious earlier?
yeah, well, yeah. Well, just because you're a substantial person. Anyway, a lot of people have been wondering the regional comprehensive economic partnership has been ratified. So RCEP has been ratified. What do we do now? What
What's
happens
next?
now?
Well, first thing we need to do is get our people, our businesses particularly, be aware of the possible gains they will have from RCEP, because there are several of them.
Many people know about
Because so far the publicity has focused on speculation about the negative
Yes.
impact of RCEP.
So what is it? Is it a communication aspect? Is
Yes,
it a-
we need the campaign. We're going to do that out of DTI to get businesses aware that they will benefit from this. Like products before, like preserved pineapple. Now we can export preserved pineapple to
Preserved
China.
pineapple.
Yeah,
Preserved.
preserved. To China and Japan. and get preferential tariff treatment in this country. So we'll be competitive.
Sir, but when
And
you
there are a number of these preserved pineapples, pineapple juice, coconut juice, lightning signals, sound signaling equipment, ignition wiring, Lexa plate. To China, to Japan also, there's a list including coffee, sunflower, which should now be competitive in China, those products, and Japan, these products, and Korea, another set of products, including to Korea, alcoholic beverages like beer, gin,
Your
rum,
local-
brandy.
local-
Yeah, and we
we
have
call it here.
We
production
have-
of
yes, we do.
these types of alcoholic beverages, and they will be more competitive in these three countries which are outside ASEAN.
Okay, yes. But RCEP itself is, there are 10 countries, right?
15.
15,
Yeah.
all of the ASEAN countries
10,
except for
10,
Myanmar.
yeah, 10 ASEAN countries plus Japan, Korea, China, Australia, and New
New
Zealand.
Zealand, yes. Okay. Do we have trade with Australia and New Zealand?
Yes, we have. We have trade. We are also struggling to get them to accept our pineapple, and we're still negotiating.
But pineapple, when
Or
you say
pineapple.
what does that
Because they're
mean?
producing pineapple now.
That's the Bukidnon, ano, di ba?
Bukidnon and a number of
Davao.
other areas in
The Monte
Mindanao.
and Dole. The Monte and Dole, right?
Yeah,
So,
and
What about the? Okay, there's a lot of impression, which is kind of anxious impression about RCEP with regards to our agriculture products, coming from the agricultural sector. Have we been able to satisfy the or allay
I would
the
say very
fears and
much
all
so. I sat down with the leaders of agricultural associations. I explained to them, and they understand. I mean, they've also studied RCEP, and they understand that many of our important and sensitive agricultural commodities are not included in the tariff
I see, okay.
commitments. That's a long list, you know. In fact, more than 100. But some examples are rice, cereals, rolled oats, tuna, sugar, instant coffee, feed, potato,
Coconut.
swine,
Is coconut there?
coconut. Well, they know we produce coconut, so that's not a big problem for us. In fact, we are exporters of coconut
Yes, very
rather than importers. Unlike rice, you know, we're importers. Even onions, garlic, lettuce, sweet potato, meat, swine meat, poultry meat. The existing tariff to protect or to protect our local producers will not be touched under RCEP and indefinitely. Okay, but there are agricultural products whose tariff will be reduced over 20 years.
Okay.
Okay,
over
and we
time,
hope
yes.
20 years will be enough time to make our producers competitive and
strengthen
productive.
their
Okay, so the farmer associations understand this, and they were airing their opposition, I think, as a way of leveraging on this so that they can get assurances from the government about targeted support to agriculture, to be able to raise the productivity of our farms and to be able to protect our producers against smugglers.
Okay.
Our biggest headache will be foreign goods coming into the country illegally. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a big challenge. RCEP or no RCEP, that will still happen unless something proactive is done. You know?
Okay, so that's also something that has to be
Yeah.
looked into. And
Do you think, about agriculture, do we have enough support from the government?
Yes. Now, in fact, the
our
budget,
prices, yes.
the budget of the Department of Agriculture has been raised, and let's not forget, the president himself holds
That's exactly what I'm-
the portfolio, the agriculture portfolio. to make sure, that what we need to do in agriculture is done.
So it's him being the president being the helm of agriculture. Is it starting to? Would that be because people have been saying that he's been traveling a lot and he's been selling the country, which is a laudable
Necessary too.
activity. But he's trying. Parang it seems that there's an impression that he's neglecting that portfolio that he himself chose.
No,
Food security and agriculture in general.
Well, he has a good team of undersecretaries there whom he meets regularly.
Yes.
I'm also traveling a lot, but I'm able to do my job in the office. And the beauty now, is that we have all means of communication to be in
Online.
touch.
Work from
No, but
anywhere.
the more important
From
thing
everywhere,
is the fact that he is the head, and meaning any commitment made, that there
Will have
is
to be,
support
yeah.
from the top.
Right, yes. So
Okay,
let's wait
great.
and see some more.
Well, there are other things that are a little bit technical, but there has been a delay in the. We understand that there has been a delay in the U.S. GSP. I don't know what's happening. What's happening there?
Well,
Why is there a delay? Why the delay?
I think
Have we been lobbying?
Yeah, we've been lobbying. I think the last renewal of U.S. GSP coverage for the Philippines happened or expired in 2020. And
2020, yes.
yeah, and so we're now paying what's called the most favored nation tariff
Yes.
for exports to the U.S. But the moment the GSP is renewed, then the tariff paid previously will be refunded.
Oh.
Okay, but that doesn't address the question of why,
This is delay.
Why is it taking a while?
I think this is somewhat. It's not a purely trade-driven facility. This has something to do with.
There are other things
Yeah.
in consideration.
Yes, it's USAID, for example, is an arm for providing assistance, but it's motivated, of course, to assist and also to be able to promote certain philosophies or
Yes.
policies. GSP, I think, because this is the approval is not done by the president; it's by the Congress. Of the US.
It's being done by Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
And they are.
So
there are
it's
certain
it's
The
not
Republicans and
it's not easy,
GOP and the Democrats.
Yeah.
So-
Even now, you'll notice that there are many measures that
Yes.
they're trying to get passed by the U.S. Congress, where there is a big division.
Correct. Being division,
so-
market.
It's not easy, and we recognize that. But we continue to exert the pressure, not really the pressure, but the work to follow up on this every opportunity. And now the current opportunity for doing that is the negotiation for our participation in IPEF,
IPEF.
the Indo-Pacific
the
Economic
Indo-Pacific
Framework
Yes.
for Prosperity.
Okay.
Because that's a way the U.S. now is proposing to engage with the Indo-Pacific region.
Yes, that Indonesia, ourselves,
India,
India.
okay, and among the ASEAN countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, I think Brunei is also included.
But this is U.S. This is U.S. driven.
Yeah, it's a U.S.-driven initiative, and it's the way by which U.S. is trying to shift the way things are done. In trade, the rules of the game. It's not a trade agreement. It's a framework for how to do things.
Okay.
In trade, in supply chain, in clean economy, and protection of the environment, and in governance.
Okay.
Anti-corruption
Climate,
in particular.
There's another one, the GSP Plus.
GSP Plus, that's Europe.
Well, we
That's expiring by the end of this year. and we're lobbying for the renewal of the cooperation with the Philippines. No, no.
Suspended for a while.
It's not suspended, it's there, but it's expiring by the end of 2023, and we're working on the renewal. I went to Brussels to meet with two committees of the EU Parliament.
Yes.
The EU Parliament will also be the one to make the final approval
Okay.
on
Wow.
the coverage of the Philippines.
Been some very, very negative about the EU Parliament
Yeah,
of late.
and,
Anyway.
I met also with the number 2 person in the EU Commission, because the EU Commission is preparing the recommendation to
Yes,
the Parliament. Okay.
I think we fare well better under this
Yeah, we had
administration.
very good feedback. Of course, there was a recent delegation of EU Parliament members who were here. The delegation consisted of rainbow of members from practically representing the spectrum, political spectrum of the political parties in the parliament. And well, based on the feedback I got in my discussion with them, I didn't see any harsh position, that they're
Against.
taking. I don't know, maybe because I'm in the trade and industry and not in another department of the government. But they also raise issues, about how we're treating them. I simply tell them, that with or without GSP Plus, we will still do those things that you expect us.
Yes.
Those obligations that you have imposed under GSP because they are covered by international conventions to which the Philippines is a signatory.
No, sir. So you have all of this. You have the U.S. GSP. You have the GSP Plus. You have the Indo-Pacific, etc.
No, there are more.
There's more.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're lagging behind Vietnam, Singapore, Thailand with regard to, negotiating free trade agreements.
Oh,
with our trading
under what
partners.
framework is this?
This is bilateral.
Bilateral. Okay.
Bilateral.
But I was
There's so many
leaning
things.
towards RCEP. I mean, so you have all of this. I mean, is this rational? I mean,
Yeah.
how do you rationalize all of this?
RCEP.
Don't we duplicate?
Yeah.
Or what?
No, not really. RCEP is about trade.
Free trade. It's a free trade arrangement.
Yeah, it's a
free trade
free
agreement.
trade arrangement. Like it's an FTA.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's a mega, super FTA covering 15 countries.
15 countries. Yes.
IPEF is not a trade agreement. It's setting the framework. That's why it's called Indo-Pacific framework.
Involving only a few countries.
The economic framework involving, not all the ASEAN countries. And it's supposed to, just to give you an example, it was really driven by all the disruptions experienced during the pandemic.
Yeah.
For example, the U.S. is now saying we need to diversify sources of supply. That's with respect. There are 4 pillars, trade, supply chain, environment, and anti-corruption. So in supply chain, the countries should not be relying on just a single source of supply. There has to be diversification.
Right.
So the convention for that will be covered in RCEP among the member countries. Okay, so that's a thing,
Okay, so it's the rules of the game.
Yeah, rules of the game. Yeah.
Okay.
So that we can achieve the shared goals that we have set.
So each has a specific role.
Yes, and everything's being worked on
Yeah.
at the same time.
GSP Plus with EU and GSP with the US are trade related, but they're on a bilateral basis.
Yes, on a bilateral.
But EU is not nothing to do with IPEF nor RCEP.
What about APEC? Where's APEC? in all
APEC,
of
yeah,
this?
APEC already. We are now supposed to be an integrated regional market.
Economies, no?
The ASEAN Free Trade Agreement covers. That's what I'm saying. We were saying also, many of the tariff adjustments committed under RCEP, we are already
Doing so,
doing
no need to
under
fear.
ASEAN.
Okay.
Okay, so
So,
very little adjustment. You know.
I mean, that's one way of saying to those people who fear about all of these tariffs and all that. But we're already engaged in tariffs.
right. But what they're saying is that do we still need another one? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think the concern is that we will get flooded
With
by imported
cheap-
commodities,
Yes, like sugar,
which
for
will not
instance.
be slowed down. Before, you impose a tariff, it's a tariff protection to minimize the flow into the country.
Just like, for instance, sir, sugar. I mean, Thailand is mechanized. So they can really produce a lot of sugar
Yes.
and import it, and then to the detriment of our local sugar producers who are still labor intensive, etc. So what do we do about that? I mean,
Well, that's why, has to be the obligation of the government is to make sure that we are. But sugar is excluded,
it's
from
excluded.
the impact
Okay.
of RCEP.
But okay.
Regardless, we need to improve the productivity of our sugar land, our
We
rice
need to
land,
mechanize.
our corn land. Yeah,
Is there a
but
need to
before
mechanize?
we are able to mechanize, we need to consolidate our farms.
I
Okay, that's the
understand.
big
That's
challenge.
another
How
thing.
do you consolidate? From breaking up, now we need to
It was before they
consolidate.
were saying that even this land reform program of the previous government was not exactly for sugar. There's a lot of argument that now I'm studying that it was not really
Because
it
it
doesn't
was-
really work for
It is
the
not
economies of scale.
It is not sufficient to distribute the land to farmers, in small parcels. It's important that support is given, to the farmers.
And we didn't have that.
Like-
I mean,
The idea is while you break up the land and distribute to individual farmers, but you should get the farmers together in a cooperative.
yes.
There are some farming
So that you could produce
cooperatives
all
that are working well, but a lot to be desired yet in many areas. But that's one way to consolidate. Contract farming is another way, And then there are many now that have experimented, or not experimented, gone into business by like a coconut juice producer. It operates as a factory, but it has contract with the farming communities around, smallholders. So that's another way to consolidate. In Agad, as I said, we visited a coconut factory, coconut juice, milk, and other coconut products factory. It's supposed to give commitments to farmers that this factory will buy their output.
Yeah. That's a good way of doing it. Yeah.
And then this factory should also provide the technology and the technical assistance to get the farms improve their productivity.
Well,
So,
yes. Well, we'll get into that. All the things that you're doing for
After a break.
yes, after our break.
Iba ng panahon, ang dami ng bago ngayon. Pati ang mundo natin, well, nagbago na rin. Buti ang bayan, bigger, better na. You can buy it to centers, pati sa mga partners may online pa at app. You can buy it with your fingers, still don't remittance and more. Online shopping, you can buy it all. Di magpadala, you can buy it all. Anumang pera transaction, you can buy it all.
Sabayan ang pagbabago ng mundo for all your pera transactions, all new Bayan.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
With Globe, our steps can lead us to millions of doors opening, millions of paths unfolding, and millions of reasons to keep going. Now's the time to be with a network that gets better every day for you.
You're really corporate.
You're still watching Pairfect, and we're here with Secretary Fred Pascual. So, Seth, how do you plan to further develop the SMEs, the small to medium enterprises, and how critical is the role of SMEs in the local economy?
SMEs are very important to the local economy. They provide employment to 63% of our workforce.
Okay.
And in terms of number, 99.5% of registered enterprises are MSMEs.
How many?
99.5%.
I was about to ask you whether the
Take
statistics
note,
were okay. 99%?
99.5. You know why?
Wow. You mean to say all these businesses we see are
Small. There are very few. Large companies, less than 5,000.
what are the large companies?
100.
ISM, Ayala,
Yeah, the
Razon.
conglomerates, yeah.
Those only 1%?
Oh, yeah. That's less than 1%.
What about the say
0.5.
wow.
Medium size, also less than 5,000.
Oh my God.
Small,
Say
a little over 100,000.
Lapanday, for instance.
Oh, Lapanday is large.
That's already part of the 1%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not 1%, 0.5%.
Oh, the 0.5%.
Not 0.5, yeah. Less than 0.5, because 5,000 large, less than 5,000 medium, a little over 100,000 small. Most are micro.
So the
The micro includes the sari-sari stores, the market vendors,
That's a lot.
the Philippine economy is really, when you talk about the Philippine economy in the current times, you're talking about 99% being MSMEs.
Yes. Otherwise, people will not have a way of supporting their livelihood. They don't have this
Registered is
small
how
business.
much? 90%?
These are just the registered enterprises. There are many more that are not
Underground.
registered. Yeah. And
underground
there are
economy.
there are those that are registered at the barangay level, and based on our data gathering, there are about another million there.
Okay.
There are 2 million all in all.
So this and I guess overseas remittances from the OFWs. These are what's propping up the economy.
Yes.
So what do we need to? What
How do we
you envision?
use it?
How do we develop this
Well,
to even further produce and support the economy?
our blanket solution is digitalization.
Why digitalization?
Digitalization, because that's a way they can connect. As a small enterprise by itself will have difficulty surviving. It has to be able to access finance, connect to finance. And digitalization will facilitate that, because when we are able to track the transactions of a small enterprise, that could be the basis of a loan. And loans before was being dispensed by money lenders, because the money lenders are able to go to the to the market vendor, dispense the money in the morning, then collect in the evening. With digitalization, the vendor will have a choice. No longer deal with the money lender,
Even GCash now.
but deal with a company, a fintech,
A fintech,
company
yes. Okay.
that will provide them the money, and then they can pay also.
At the end of
By
the day.
Would the
digital
interest
payment.
rates, will the interest rates on credit be also
Well-
also rationalized?
Well, the interest rates will be market. There will be many competitors, and that will settle based on market forces. So that's one way. That's one solution. And then the other, of course, is to link the bigger one, the bigger among the small enterprises, to large businesses, so they can be part of the value and supply chain. The other is to get them organized in a cluster. Like it's happening now. There are bamboo clusters, there are coffee clusters, there are chocolate our cacao clusters, and then get an investor to set up a facility like
Where
in-
are these cooperatives or no?
no, like
I mean, I
the
guess
one
to get credit.
the coconut water company I was talking about. It's a private company buying from contracted farmers.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
So different roles.
Coffee also, you cluster them so they will be together and work with, say, a
Roasters, coffee
company,
shops, and then coffee growers,
Yeah.
etc. Like that.
and some like for cacao, we are now producing chocolate,
Yes,
which
very,
is
and very good
competitive
quality.
internationally,
Correct, I know that.
and that has to be expanded,
Yes.
and that should
Given
be able to
support.
bring in more cacao producers.
Oh, very
Coffee
good.
also, same way, we have so many coffee shops,
yeah.
you know, we're coffee drinking. But
I have,
sad part, I think it's more than 80 or almost 90% of our coffee is imported.
correct, because we cannot grow. We
Because
cannot grow as much because of our arable land for coffee. We are islands. We're not like Vietnam. Vietnam's number one now.
yeah.
Because you have contiguous
Well,
lands.
our biggest competitor is Copico. You know where Copico is made?
Yes, yes. Well,
Malaysia.
Indonesia.
Mm.
Oh,
Indonesia.
hey, oh, no, yes.
But they're already,
see.
we're charging them tariff.
Okay.
Hey, I never heard of Copico until I ate a restaurant owned by the owner of Copico.
Yeah,
So
they're
what's
here now,
Copico?
you know.
Yeah, World Deli, Sao Sao,
Yeah.
all those.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
So we have a number of programs that will provide MSMEs technology, financing, and market. The ultimate solution for the market, not ultimate, but a step further is to enroll them in an e-commerce platform.
Okay.
Not Lazada or Shopee
Shopee.
immediately, but a national e-commerce platform
Run
That-
by
run by a company that we're now organizing within
government.
DTI. No, I don't think I don't believe.
Yeah.
The
So it's private.
government has
So private sector supported by government.
tie up with the government corporation.
Okay.
Under DTI, we have the National Development Corporation.
Oh,
So
I
I have
see.
tasked
Of
it
course,
the
NDC.
responsibility
NDC.
to
Okay.
set up this platform.
When is that
And
happening?
the idea is to have a platform where you can see all the products being produced by small businesses in
Fantastic.
one glance, you know.
Wow.
It's not available. In Shopee, you cannot search for Philippine-made products. You'll be overwhelmed by products made
Correct. China,
from other
yeah,
countries.
yeah. So this is all Philippine.
Yeah, it will focus on Philippines. So eventually, my goal is to require government to buy. There is already a law that's requiring government to give preference to
Local.
locally produced product, but there is no means to do it. So
That's
the
what you're
idea, this
setting up.
platform will also become an e-catalog for government, local government units, national
Was
government
that your
units.
idea? You studied everything and then you decided that this is
Well,
what we need.
Not really. It's really being open to what's going on around the world. That's how I keep up, you know.
How soon will this this e-platform that you're talking about? How
Yeah.
soon will it be launched?
Well,
How far are you on how? I mean, you know, or how near?
my target is to do it before the end of the year.
Okay, great. Yeah.
The calendar year.
That would really be
Yeah.
Very
I
Because
noti-
there are
but I
many nice
notice-
products, you know.
I noticed that DTI already has a lot. You can go to DTI and then you have shops there.
Yeah, we have
And you
the
sell
OTOP.
OTOP, yeah.
The
Oh.
OTOP. Now
Yeah.
there is a bill in Congress, our Congress, that will institutionalize our OTOP.
What do you mean institutionalize your OTOP? What does
The
that
government
mean?
will recognize it, but I think for me the important thing is towards the end, you know, that the government will provide funding.
right.
Of course, always. No amount of words, nice words, will
So-
amount to, you know,
So that's one. And then we have the buy local, you know.
by local.
The buy local is a graduation stage, you know.
But Philippine products now are getting better. No?
Yeah, the packaging is improving.
Except that they're expensive. Can you go to this artisanal or whatever that you know that you go to Rockwell or whatever. I don't know. There's so many. Do you have Habibi or what?
Happy.
They're so expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
They're geared towards the export market.
Yes.
No.
Those that are looking for handicraft, you know, handmade
Yes.
products.
Craft. But what about for Filipino?
We're talking
Well,
of,
for the
of
ordinary Filipinos who
Yeah, hindi
want
kadi-
to buy.
hindi Kadiwa hub that we're organizing. They're bottled all types of food, you know.
Okay.
Like in Naga, bottled Bicol Express, bottled laing, bottled
Bottled sardines, bottled
yeah. Yeah, and
Chili
also
paste.
packaged
chili paste, yes.
pili nuts and various types, you know,
Hindi
chocolate
ka
covered
let's say in
pili
Makati.
nuts.
If you're in Makati,
Yeah,
I
what
like
we
Kadiwa
want to
stores.
happen is to be able to bring those products from the regions to the national
To the
market,
national market.
including Metro Manila, of
Go
course,
to
where the
market,
big
market.
consumers are, you know.
For the market, farmers,
Oo nga.
Oh,
SM.
kasi
whatever, no?
the current approach is to organize trade fairs
Yes.
to introduce the products, you know. Like one time I was shopping in one mall and I noticed, you know, their products were here. It turned out they're from a particular region. That's how we are doing it now. But with the use of digitalization and with digital technology, we'll be able to achieve the same exposure to our local producers by virtual means. You
What
know.
about these sari-sari
Very good
stores?
online.
These are small.
Yeah.
Okay. Would digitalization, how would the digitalization help them?
There is
Or-
now
okay.
an app. It's called, I think, Sari Grocer or something like that. Grocery, yeah.
Grow,
Grocery,
GROW study.
yeah. I think no W, grocery.
Oh, okay.
But that's the essence. It's linking sari-sari stores to manufacturers. So that there is a system now by which a sari-sari store will be able to track its inventory and make automatic orders the moment the inventory hits a certain level. And that will really make the life
For all
of
the
the
products,
sari-sari store.
for all the items that
Yeah, there are very few.
sari-sari stores.
Yeah, there are very few suppliers, you know. These are the
So what do they sell?
producers
They sell
of,
hopia, they sell crackers,
Condiments.
Yeah.
they sell
Junk food.
the producers are large companies, you know.
Okay.
So it's a matter of linking them to the system. The large companies linking them to the system so they can deal with. There will be two-way communication, you know. Orders and then sale, and then payment will all be done digitally.
GCash, etc.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Gcash,
Paymaya.
yeah.
So sari-sari stores now are aware of this?
Many, they're doing their work. It's not government run, but we're supporting it by morally in terms of introducing it to MSMEs. And if you know the coverage grows to a great extent, then that will be a major revolutionary change, you know,
Yes.
in the way
Just wanted
sari-sari
to-
stores are
Just
run.
wanted to track.
There'll be
no?
more,
Look at
the owners, you know, will be able to run it more
Efficiently.
efficiently.
Yes.
Definitely. And financing will be, that was the digitalized or digitized data that they will accumulate in terms of transactions, you know. The frequency, the volume of purchases will become the basis now for a fintech
Ah,
to lend money
fantastic.
Wow.
Okay, that's great. That's great to know.
without collateral, based merely on the track
Sari-sari
record.
store. Oh,
And
based
the
on
track
based on the
record
track
can now
record, yeah.
be, it's you don't need to verify it. It's already as it is verified, you know, because they are automatically corrected based on transactions between the sari-sari store and the manufacturer that's supplying
Great.
the product.
Wow,
So these are the
fantastic.
digital solutions that we are promoting.
Great, great,
Very much
great to
needed
know.
now.
Yes. Okay. So there's no time to relax.
I know,
No
right?
time to swim in the pool.
I just want to go back to a question that popped into my head earlier. So, hearing you talk and interviewing you in the past, I've learned that you really study every role that you take on and you figure out what you need to do for that stint. So, for DTI, what do you think is your role? What do you have to do?
My role is really to make sure that what we plan, we execute.
Okay.
So many plans that I have inherited, not or have come across already existing, The challenge really is implementing.
Okay. Yes.
I don't have to come up with new ideas, we
It's all
great
there,
people. Yeah, like same thing what happened to me in UP.
Yes, yeah.
Series of faculty members, faculty conferences have identified the problem, identified the solution. But year in, year out, they talk about the same thing, they talk about same problem, same solution, but nobody was executing the solutions. So my main role is get things
Done.
implemented.
So you're the concretizer.
You.
Yeah,
You're the concretizer.
that's
He
a-
sets
you
up
realize
the,
it.
how to do it. This
how
is
to
how
do
you
it.
do it.
Yeah. Well, like digitalization in UP, very concretely, I interconnected all the buildings with future-proof fiber optic cables. That was already there when the pandemic hit.
This is Diliman.
No, not only Diliman, Los Baños,
All
all the
UP,
campuses.
all the UP campuses.
There are 8 constituent universities in
And
the UP
then
system.
You still have UP Visayas, right?
Yes, in UP Visayas,
UP
you have
Baguio. You still have UP
Tacloban and Iloilo and Miagao,
Miagao, yeah.
3 campuses for UP
Oh, yeah.
Visayas. Baguio, we
Miagao
have
is with SIFDEC. Is it with SIFDEC?
SIFDEC is near UP Visayas.
That's Miagao.
Near that's I think SIFDEC is under
It used to be part of the...
BIFAR,
it used to
not
be-
not under
I know.
UP. Yeah, there are many campuses. We have at the time I was there, 17 campuses.
Dami.
8 constituent universities, including an open university.
It is
And
an open university.
distance learning.
Ah, okay.
Like the ones you see on the web.
Yeah, television. Yes.
So that's the thing, get things done, and I hope I'll be able to inspire our people in DTI to get things done. And the way to do that is to create the enabling environment, organize the people, give pinpointed responsibility, and track the progress.
It's really about
Right,
thinking. You plan, you
the way he
make
talks
plans.
about it, it makes it so easy.
I know, right?
But it's yes. But I understand now why you don't know. Why you're right on track. I mean, in terms of your life, you still wanna.
Study, you were,
so much to you have
so much to
offer,
do and so much to do.
so much to do, and so much to contribute. Yes.
You were curious before Sec arrived about the trips that you've joined the
Oh yeah.
president. So
Well, you've been with the. How many trips has the president made? 9.
Nine, yeah.
Since he started his
I
term.
think 9, yeah.
So we started with ASEAN, started with some Asian
Yeah,
countries.
Japan, Singapore. I mean, sorry, Indonesia, Singapore, very first ones.
Yes. What has come out of it? What has come out of
those.
these trips? These trips.
Of course,
A lot of pledges. Commitments.
we are able to accumulate investment leads, investment pledges. Okay, and the idea now is to follow up on these pledges, and some have already come to realization, like a number of BPOs that committed to us when we were in New York.
Yes.
Have already implemented expansion here or new IT BPM or BPO operation being set up. Another one which I attended the launching was a new manufacturing line of diapers by an American manufacturing company
That's
for
from,
export
yes.
to Korea and Japan. We
But
talked
this is-
about
this
it
is
in
a
New York.
This is a U.S. company.
U.S. company. Yeah.
Here, okay. Pumpers.
Yes.
Yes, pumpers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
State of the art, though.
State of the art. Yeah. No, I visited the factory. We
You
inaugurated
brought the
it.
president. I understand. He was impressed.
Yeah. And the beauty of it all is that they are producing for the Korean market and
Being done here.
being done here. Yeah. So it's inspiring, and shows hope.
Yes.
And there are many inquiries, outside the ones that have really signed MOUs or letters of intent. There are many others, that have been attracted. Like in Japan, for example, we met with so many companies in one event, but in another what we call business matching event, there were more than 100 Filipino companies whom we have assigned to different tables, and there were close to or more than 300 Japanese companies who came in and met with Filipino
Filipino
companies.
counterparts.
And on average, 3 to 4 companies per Filipino. I'm sure some things will come out of that,
Good.
of those discussions.
You
But
keep
there,
track.
we have not tracked them yet, you know, in terms of, because separately, there are those that have signed the memorandum of understanding with their partners here.
Okay.
That's the beauty with the Japan experience, is because many of those whom we met have either existing operations in the Philippines or are in close collaboration with Filipino companies. So the certainty of these Japanese investments coming to be realized is very high.
Okay.
Okay. Same with the U.S. You know, Singapore, and then Europe. Europe, we met with a major. This was when we were in Davos. You know, so the
You were
World
also in
Economic
you were in
Forum, yeah.
WF.
Yeah. They're into processing of mineral ores,
Okay.
metallic ores, and we're looking at the processing of our nickel ores. You know, nickel is one of the green metals that's now in demand
Yeah, what do
globally
you mean by green metal?
because it's used to manufacture batteries that go into the production of electric vehicles. And electric vehicles
Okay.
is the solution,
Yes.
the green solution to the pollution created by internal combustion
Is that
engine
DTI?
vehicles.
The e-vehicles?
Yeah, it's a DTI.
I said
program.
DTI. I thought it was in transportation.
No, the manufacturing of EVs.
So that's the new wave now.
No, we just brought down the tariff on imported pure EV because there's hybrid, you know,
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
pure EV vehicles to zero tariff. You know,
Oh, so we can
to really invite the
Invite.
importation of. But they're still
Yes.
expensive. But
Dina, we can buy e-vehicles.
You can.
Very curious about, you know.
I'm using a hybrid,
What are you using?
just a Camry.
Tesla. We brought in the stage book
Ah.
too already.
Government official, we cannot
Chevy.
afford Tesla. You know,
Mahal ang Tesla.
I think so. Oh,
Should ask me,
the
bro.
hybrid.
Teddy, do you I want to ask so many more questions, but you know, our
Wrap up na.
time for the show has
Alrighty.
come to an end. So, Sec Fred, please, thank you very much for
Oh,
joining us this
my
morning.
pleasure.
You can join us
Another,
for another
chapter 2.
Yeah, maybe we give you time to find out what's happening, what's happened
No,
between now and
I'd be happy to
the
oblige.
e-platform that you have told us about.
Yeah,
is
there are
fantastic.
lot more things we can talk about.
Talk about,
Maybe
yes.
in half a year.
Yeah, but for now, before we let you go, maybe you would like to say something to our viewers?
Yes.
Well, in all the things we do, let's look at the bright side and don't think of or don't dwell too much on the negative aspects, but the gains that the country will achieve in what we're doing. And some of those things I'm referring to, we discussed in our interchange today.
And things looks very promising, no? You know, under
I
this
am inspired.
administration.
So,
Great, fantastic. Yeah.
so
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a very interesting discussion. And I'm sorry you only have enough time.
Yeah, no,
you have
so-
only so much time.
well, we hope everyone will watch Pairfect every Friday at 2 p.m. on Daily Tribune's Facebook and YouTube page. Thank you, mga katribo, once again.
And, once again, I'm Teddy Montelibano.
And I am Dinah Ventura, and this has been Pairfect.
Perfect.